been a long time since I can think of it as pivotal a year as you have, both from a standpoint of some of the programs that you're imparting at this point, plus now it'll be the second big year now with the market report and a number of things all piling up at the same time. I would imagine at this point you're all feeling just a little foggy walking into this.
You know, but it's a good foggy. We could not be more pleased with year-end 2013 going into 14, and it's not just the trade association. We've had a great year in 2013, but so have our members. Just finished my board of directors meeting this morning here in Nashville, and going around the room and each board member kind of reporting on what's going on in their area of the country or the world and their segment of the industry, whether it's manufacturing or in the repair station arena. And nearly every single one said business is good, business is up, they're starting to be back ordered. That's been unheard of in the last 8 years.
Let's talk about that first. I don't think of any aspect of aviation or aerospace that has shown the progress both in technological aspects as well as the capabilities that the technology brings that avionics has brought to this industry. It has truly modernized much of aviation and even made our elder airframes and power plants et al. Far more usable because of it.
Absolutely. We, I believe, are starting to mirror the consumer electronics industry as far as the timeliness of advancing of the technologies and their features and what you're seeing in the cockpit nowadays. Probably the only thing that is holding us back is getting those new products certified, getting those installations approved as well. It's not the manufacturers and it's not the repair stations that is hindering the progress of putting new technology and in turn safety in the cockpit. It is the regulators that are not quite as nimble to move on understanding the new technology in order to get it certified and installing the equipment in order to get it approved for flight.
There's a real problem right now. It's really creating some significant inhibitions for the industry in regards to not only product development and getting things out, but when you have to cash flow a business for an additional year while you're waiting for things to be certified, that's a death knell.
It takes a turn, and unfortunately some very smart engineers and some very, very good companies can't produce the product, and therefore they end up shuttering the windows and the doors. And it's really a sad state of affairs when that happens. Even though the economy's been bad, the research dollars and the development dollars have still been flowing from the manufacturers. As they are not standing still, they're taking it upon themselves to, pull up their bootstraps and keep going regardless of what, our regulators and politicians may be saying. We're still dedicated to this industry and advancing the industry.
Since the early days of powered flight, pilots have struggled with landing in crosswinds. In fact, crosswinds and wind gusts cause more landing accidents than fog, thunderstorms, and icing combined. That's where the Redbird X-Wind SE comes in. By placing pilots in gusty crosswind conditions for extended periods of time, the X-Wind SE gives instructors all the time they need to teach the pilot the proper techniques for landing in crosswind conditions. For more information on Redbird X-Wind SE and Redbird's entire line of flight training devices, visit www.redbirdflightsimulation.com.
If you were in a position to say to the administration, this is what this industry needs to safely, productively, and capably enhance this industry from a certification and new product standpoint, how would you suggest that things be run from here on out without dealing with the stonewalling that we have to deal with now?
Good timing on the question. Before long, we'll be starting to talk about the next FAA reauthorization and the funding for the FAA. And if I could do that and go to the administration and say, here's what our industry needs. Number one, I would say we don't need government assistance. We don't need a bailout. We don't need you to hold our hand and tell us how to do our business. We know how to do our business. We know how to create and manufacture safety-enhancing equipment. Give funds to the FAA, if need be, to their certification offices, whether that's to employ more certification engineers to help the workflow and get the certifications out quicker, or allow them to go through more training, industry training, so they're as familiar with the new technologies as our manufacturers and engineers and the avionics technicians that will be doing the installing, the troubleshooting, the maintaining of this equipment. I think it's a knowledge thing. If those regulators are educated on the new technology right alongside industry, it will help with the certification and the installation process as well.
Is there potentially a greater role for AEA to play in this?
Absolutely. It's not only AEA's role, it's the General Aviation Trade Association's role as well to help assist the regulators to use standards, whether they be RTCA standards or ASTM. It is up to the associations to help educate and promote consensus standards. I think that's evident by the work that we've done, the trade association industry, with the Part 23 rewrite. Thanks to congressional legislation, now that will soon become a reality, which will in turn help certification and installation regulations become more of a standards-based regulatory environment. Please.
God listen.
Yes, yes. That would in turn speed up and produce more avionics technologies and more aircraft in a faster, safer manner.
Over the past 2 decades, no resource has compiled as much expert-valued information about the sport plane world than the Sport Plane Resource Guide. Over 1,500 pages, hundreds of aircraft, dozens of how-tos and directories. All this and more will be coming to the sport aviation world soon with the new, all-electronic and updatable Sport Plane Resource Guide for your iPad, iPhone, Kindle, tablet, PC, or other electronic devices. Get your order in now. www.sportplane.com.
What are the biggest obstacles you see for the foreseeable future for the success of the industry? What concerns you? What's on your what's on your trouble list?
It seems like I focus a lot on the regulatory environment, but that probably is always the first obstacle that comes to mind, basically because of the regulations that continue to slow down our industry, almost a stranglehold on the industry when it comes to certifying the new equipment and approving installations to make an aircraft airworthy. That's probably where our biggest challenge is right now. Obviously, the economy is a challenge. The financial market is starting to look better. Unemployment is still struggling. Our industry has a shortage of qualified technicians. That will always continue to be a challenge. Introducing people and encouraging them to start flying and obtain a pilot's license, that's an industry-wide challenge. But for my segment of the industry, both the avionics manufacturing and the repair station industry, I would probably say, and I think my members would agree, regulatory environment challenges are number one.
You put a tremendous amount of emphasis into a scholarship program. There are tremendous opportunities in this business, and yet when you talk to kids coming out of school, I don't hear anybody talk about being an avionics tech. It seems to me that there's still a tremendous amount of outreach. I know you do such a phenomenal work on scholarships. I mean, what's the number this year?
A little over $125,000, 24 scholarships. We're probably our own worst enemy, and by we I mean our membership in the segment, because we sing our song to one another and even in our aviation publications. But we all need to do a better job, myself included, of stepping outside of our own industry and trying to expose these young students to a career in our segment of the industry. The typical grade schooler, if you say, would you like a job in aviation, an airline pilot automatically comes to mind. And while that's a wonderful career to consider, there are so many different aspects and career opportunities that support that airline pilot job. And I think it's up to all of us to just continue to spread the word on what our industry can offer them as well. And over the last, I would say 10 years, the livelihood of an avionics technician and the compensation package, thank goodness, is really starting to increase, because I think our industry is realizing the value of a good, highly skilled avionics technician, and they're willing to pay to retain that person or to attract the person in the first place.
If you could take a moment and talk to me about your member and associate members of the year.
Sure. At our annual awards luncheon, the AEA always bestows 2 awards. One is the AEA Member of the Year, the other is the AEA Associate Member of the Year. Voted on by the membership, so they're voted on by their peers. The Member of the Year this year, I'm very excited, is Mr. Michael Cuss. And he is the owner and principal of Avionics 2000 out of Melbourne, Australia. He's been very active in the growth of AEA South Pacific region, and he serves on our board representing that region. I think it is a testament to our efforts to really become an international organization. We have members now in 43 countries, and Australia is just one of those 43. And so it's really nice that this person from Australia is being recognized amongst members from throughout the world as the Member of the Year. So very well-deserved award on his behalf. Our Associate Member of the Year is always a manufacturer or distributor, and they're voted on by the dealer network. So also a very huge compliment and testament to the manufacturer or distributor's work and support of their dealers, work within the association, support of the industry in general. And this year's Associate Member of the Year is PS Engineering out of Knoxville, Tennessee. So that is a testament to their customer service and their dealer support, and the quality of their product line as well. So this is actually the second time in that company's history that they've been named Associate Member of the Year, which is always a nice honor. There's very few companies that can say that.